Hello and welcome back to Flight Path, your weekly update on all things Tern. I'm Brad, the head of design here at Tern, and I'm joined, as always, by Molly, our head of product. We're missing our normally incredible host, David. He is at ASTA this week, actually talking to advisors and agencies in real life instead of just over a podcast. So probably a better use of time. But if you saw him in ASTA, hope you got to say hi, and I'm sure he'll be around at future events too. He's always traveling, as he talks about on the show. So, more to talk about there later. But before we jump into our topics for this week, we're going to talk about some things that have happened since the webinar, some feedback that we've been getting, and how we're just continuing to make little tweaks and adjustments to everything we launched, including some big things that are coming up soon. We're going to do all that. Before we do, just your regular reminder, if you're loving Flight Path, if you want to stay up to date on all things Tern, hit the subscribe button, the whatever button to keep this in your feeds. We love sharing updates with you, and so happy that everyone always listens. So with that out of the way, I think we will jump right in, starting with our just normal regular check-in. Molly wrote a monologue in the doc here that I'm looking at, so I think she's got some things to say. Molly, how's it going? How's your week been?
It's good. You know what? I like click the whatever button. That's a good encapsulation of all of the different buttons you may click, depending if it's YouTube or Spotify. So well done, Brad. The podcast feels a little bit lonely without David. It's weird to have two. We got Jade to sub in last time, but we'll do our best to keep the energy high. Although we joked like last week was the webinar, and usually it's like we call the day after the webinar like hangover day, even if you don't drink the night before, because you're just like completely dead in every single whatever. I feel like this time it's hangover week for some reason. Like the webinar was like even more intense than usual. And so if you're longtime listeners to the podcast, you know both Brad and I are into Way of Kings, and then there's character Teravangian who has like smart days and dumb days. And I feel like Brad and I are both on a dumb day. So it's gonna be an interesting podcast to say the least.
Comment below with how dumb you think we've been today. I don't know. David's not here. Things will be weird. Um, anything else to add there, Molly?
One thing that's really exciting is the whole team, like our engineers, you, myself, we have tons of interviews happening this week and in coming weeks. And it's like always so interesting because it's like so important to grow the team and do that thoughtfully. But then it's also just a lot of our day. And so we're always trying to juggle like spending time like on design and product and coding and getting out features with the quality you expect, while also actually trying to grow the team like fairly quickly. So just like a lot of balls in the air right now and doing our best to juggle them.
Yeah, that really resonates with me. I think, I don't know who says this, but like feeling the squeeze or feeling the pinch of just like there's a lot going on, and we're trying to do a lot all at once as a team. But so made some good progress on things this week that I'm excited to talk about, but definitely feeling the like lots of meetings, lots of interviews, also a lot of user calls, which is just always a breath of fresh air in the middle of like, heads down, trying to get stuff done. Like always connecting with folks is always great. And I'm just jumping off of one of those right now. So coming in with some good energy, and it's been a fun week. Mm-hmm. With that said, let's talk about some of the things we've been doing after the webinar. If you believe it, Tern is not done. We're still building things. That was not our last webinar ever. Starting with sharing folders, which might be kind of a big deal, Molly. Is that right?
Yeah. So I think since we launched the ability to share items in your library, it's been like, that was great, but it's been so painful having to tell, especially like agency owners with big teams, like, oh yeah, you actually have to individually share every single item. And so this is a personal like top feature for me in recent times, because it's just pretty cool. Like it went from literally having to click into every single item and share it with your team to, with just a few clicks or even like one click at the top of the page, you bulk select all the items, move them into a folder, another like 2 clicks to share it with your agency, and we've just saved like hours and hours and hours of work. And I posted the update on Facebook like an hour or two ago, and I just like, you all are the best. Like there are people like, what was my favorite? You literally just made my day. I just wept like a baby. Just like people are really excited already. So that was a fun one to get out.
Too much power, or Molly. You're just making people cry with a Facebook post. Wow. Yeah, that sharing folders, similar to you, I'm just like so excited to be saving all that work. I remember when we first launched it, I think Katie was like, "We're really gonna make agency owners like do this for every individual thing." And we're like, "We know, but like it's worth it. We'll get there eventually." So glad that's faster now. Also, just really complex. We like had a good internal discussion on like how do you handle sharing with like fold. You can like share an individual item, you can share it at the folder level. Maybe coming very soon you can share like a folder nested within another folder, and there's a lot of just like considerations there for like how you handle all of that happening, and making sure that it doesn't feel more complex just because you can do it at different levels, and handle those pieces. But yeah, we worked through a lot of the complexity there, and feeling pretty good about like really just how simple it feels. It feels just like using something like Google Drive or any other tool that you can work with your team on a set of like files or documents. So feeling
Yeah,
great about that.
one specific thing that came up when we were testing is originally when you shared the folder and you clicked within the folder, there wasn't like a visual indicator that all of those items were also shared with your team. Because when you share a folder, it will automatically share all the items within the folder with whoever you shared the folder with. And so we went to add that, and then we realized, wait a second, if you then click into the individual item and edit the share settings, you actually need to indicate that the share settings are inherited from the folder, and you can't actually let them change that folder share setting there without them moving it out of the folder. So like we kept uncovering more and more. We thought this would be ready to go even a few days earlier, but like as we were testing and just using it and making sure it all made sense, there were these like sneaky things that we found that we realized we really should address before we shipped it.
Much better articulated than my fumbling that I was going for there. Um, yeah.
Team effort, team effort.
We're again combining two brains that are not at 100% today. Um, yeah, so we got sharing folders out today already. Hopefully that'll save people tons and tons of time. But we're also thinking about other improvements that came out of some of the webinar features. And maybe we'll start by talking about the trip overview, Molly.
Yeah. We've gotten predominantly just like a ton of excitement around it. And I think the like feedback that we get that we want to really react to is like people are now starting to actually think of it as their like hub for the trip, whereas before it was kind of like a tab that you landed on and then immediately jumped away from to go to a tab that was more valuable. So some of the highlights that we've gotten feedback around is like, I think this is so cool, such a cool idea, like just being able to quick add items like a booking or a workflow or an email or what have you, like right from the overview tab. So like that one will be really cool. Being able to like mark tasks as complete without having to like click into the task, I think will be a cool one. Another advisor said they wanted to see more of like on the pricing tab, there's like that module that like shows booking information
Mm-hmm.
across the trip, like total cost and commission and stuff. They want to see like that above it. So just getting some really cool ideas about other things to make it even more valuable. But with all those ideas, I think people also want customization. So I know, Brad, you had some thoughts around that.
Yeah, I think that's for every person who's like, oh, can we also add this thing? There's another person shouting like, wait, no, 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 I don't want that. I want this other thing. And
Yeah.
so I think over time we'll probably start leaning toward, well, on the trip overview and kind of Tern as a whole, like more ability for you to customize it to optimize for like your business, your workflow, the way you like to work. We don't have like an immediate plan of exactly what that will look like, but I think as like a design principle over my career as a designer, like especially working with teams and enterprise tools like this, like I think personalization and customization just becomes even more and more important. And it's hard to build like a one size fits all solution when we know how drastically different everyone's businesses are, the way you're trying to like actually manage and build your trip. So more of this is like a, hey, we're thinking about it. We know that folks want more customization, and I think we'll get there over time. But we don't know exactly what that looks like yet.
Yeah, we had a really helpful call with Walter earlier in the week, and he kind of unpacked some of the stuff. Like he would want travelers to be more prominent and like some of the upcoming and past activity to show less, so that it's not as kind of overwhelming. And like I've seen some posts on Facebook about that too. So yeah, we're kind of listening and taking all that in. I think full true customization will be a bigger undertaking, but I mean, some of my personal favorite products, I think, do that in a way that doesn't feel complicated. It like actually feels quite intuitive. Like we use this product called Linear here to manage like engineering work, and they just do such a good job with like managing unique views that you can set up. So we draw a lot of inspiration from them.
I'm so excited. Yeah. Oh, this is a distraction. I'm so excited about the concept of a view or an advisor can say, like, this is just, I want like a bookmark to this set of information super easily, like upcoming payments or like clients who are traveling this month. And I think that sometimes we talk about that in terms of reporting or like filtering, but it does, I think a view is the way I've started to think about it. And
Yeah,
I can't wait till we get there.
me too.
Um, Okay, so we talked a little bit about trip overview, but we also are thinking about more and more things related to folders. Like we talked about, we shipped the ability to share a folder, but there's more coming.
Yes. So sharing today, we shipped subfolders is almost done. I'm not sure if it will be released this week. I think it'll either be tomorrow. And actually, inside scoop, we're actually filming this on a, is filming the right word? We're filming.
Recording. We're totally recording. Yeah.
Recording this on a Thursday afternoon. We originally were gonna like make it work with David's schedule, but he's just like, I think, being mobbed in a good way at ASTA. So yeah, we by either Friday afternoon or probably early next week, we'll ship the ability to have subfolders within a folder. And we've heard that feedback really related to like, wanting to have, for example, have a folder that's more of like a top level destination. And then like within that folder, you might have like subfolders of different pieces within that destination that you want to house. So that will be really exciting. We'll talk about that more in the next podcast. And then we also have, what else do we also have?
More
Oh,
just casually folders for every library item you could possibly imagine.
yeah, exactly. So what we did, I know people are really eager to see folders everywhere in the library. We pulled a report essentially of like the number of items that advisors have created by type, to help us understand like what order do we do them in. And so it's going to be email templates and forms are the next two that we're doing. That also just kind of lined up generally with feedback that we get. Like the second we released it for activity templates, people were like, please email templates next. And we're like, yes, it is next. So those will be coming out in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that like sound so easily, like just copy and paste for folders for every type of library item. But sure, we'll talk about the complexity kind of each piece of that as we deliver it over the next couple of weeks. But our engineers kind of, I don't want to say put their foot down, but they like made sure we understood just how complex this is and why it can't just be like 1 week. Oh, do this for the rest of them on the roadmap. So.
Yeah. You know what's cool though is I think we're going to be taking a little more time since we're already like touching all this code to try to make some of these things easier and more consistent across types, so that if we do another thing like this in the future, or like we add another feature that's folder related, it like shouldn't have to take like another few weeks to get all of the different types done. And it should just be what we have. We refer to it more as like common components that are shared across these types, because right now it's very like disparate code.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be so good. And shout out to Ursula, our new designer on the team, already helping like build some of those common patterns and like clean up a lot of that stuff. So
she's off to like such a strong start. Oh my God. We didn't even have this on the agenda, but I mean, for podcast listeners, you can get the inside scoop. She designed a way to recover recently deleted trips that I think is going to blow people's minds. People delete trips accidentally more than you would think. And so, anyways, I just saw a Facebook post about this where someone was like, oh no, I just did this. And we were luckily able to recover it via our support engineering team. But like, ideally, you wouldn't have to go through Tern support to do that. So more there coming soon. But Ursula's just doing such a good job.
oh, but it's also just incredible to have another, like we're like scheming with each other on design things kind of behind the scenes. Like, I don't know, it's just so cool to have a partner who can be like, does this look good? Is this how we talk in the UI? Like, how does this work? How does this feel? And like,
But Brad, I thought you thought that I was like the best taste designer ever.
Yes, the taste designer. That is definitely the title I would give you. Uh, um, but yeah, I think our team just keeps getting better, and we're gonna keep making the product better. It's just so much fun. Um, all right, so enough about us bragging about our new hires. We will jump into some things that are we're looking forward to, some things that are coming up next, and we're going to start with some additional things, all right, related to bookings, which we've elevated already on the overview tab on a trip, but we're continuing to make changes there based on a lot of feedback we've heard.
Yeah, and so where this becomes particularly noticeable is like you now have this nice bookings table on your trip overview. But if you have more than 10 bookings, which is like actually fairly common for complex FITs, there's a view all, and that view all takes you to the pricing tab. Um, and in the pricing tab, you don't have this like nice table with confirmation numbers easily accessible. And so that was like kind of the original motivation for working on this feature. We're going to be renaming pricing to bookings. We're going to be adding a confirmation number column. But the more that we played around with our existing pricing tab too, we were just like, thank God we're redesigning this. It's not going to be like a major jarring redesign, but just like the like putting everything in a table and like having the styles be consistent and having the columns be consistent, just like things like that, where I was playing around with it again today and I was like, oh my gosh, like you guys, like how are you putting up with this? Like we're so sorry. It's just a little clunky today. So I'm like even more excited than when we initially decided to do it, just like with fresh eyes looking at the designs and then the current experience.
The amount of times I click on the pricing tab wanting to like look at the price of a hotel I'm quoting or something, and then like, where is it? Oh, I have to like open this individual items thing. Like, yes, so useful. Individual items 10. I'm like, that's what I wanted. No, like I just want to see the price on the pricing tab.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna be so much better. And I think it will be truly more like, here is a list of everything your clients are paying for in your booking on the trip versus like, here's a bunch of drop down accordion menus that you can use to like, I don't know, hopefully find the thing you're looking for if you have enough patience to click around. Um, so yeah, that's going to be a huge upgrade.
Yeah.
Beyond that, we have nested folders, which we kind of hinted at already. Anything else to add there, Molly?
I don't think so. No, that should just be next week. So I'll just, of course, be in like the testing and documentation mode for that. But it's coming along really nicely. And then I know you've been like deep into groups world again after like a little bit of a hiatus. Like it's been a month or two before we've really touched groups.
Yeah, it's been a month or two since we touched groups, and also since we touched pricing related to groups, which every time I think about this again, I'm like, oh gosh, it's so complex. You have to like really zoom back out and be like, where is everywhere we show a price? Before I go too deep in that, I should tell people what we're actually doing related to groups and pricing. So we got a bunch of feedback from folks really since the beginning that we introduced groups that, well, you're often pricing things, just like per room, per cabin, whatever that might be. If you have one person in the cabin, two, three, whatever number of people you got going on, that price is different. And trying to set that up today in turn is quite complex. People are like putting in a different room for each level of occupancy and then like just crossing their fingers that their travelers pick the right one for the number of people that are actually signing up on that trip. We went through this quite a bit with the users conference when we were trying to do pricing for like single versus double occupancy. So we're making all that better. We're going to actually allow you to, per room option that you're configuring on a trip, say like, hey, if this is a single occupancy, here's the price for this room. If it's double, here's the price. And you can decide which occupancy rates you actually want to offer. If you only want to do double occupancy, which we know many of you do, you can say, hey, in order to actually pick this room, there need to be two people assigned to it, and this is going to be the cost. And so that is going to be a huge win just for folks to both be able to have that flexibility, but also the like ability to enforce that in order to book this room, you need to have two people on this reservation when you're signing up. So yeah, that's been fun to get into, and we're already adding more complexity on top of that with like allowing people to put flexible date ranges in where your clients can pick like when they want to arrive and when they want to leave for things like destination weddings. We won't spoil too much of that. There's more coming, but we're not making our lives easier with supporting more of this complexity. But we know it's going to make advisors' lives easier. So we're trying to like take as much of that off of your plate and like make it work for us behind the scenes.
Yeah, and we're trying to get a few of these things out. In particular, I'm not sure how many of our listeners know about like the romance forum. It's like a big destination wedding forum that I just learned about as of like a few months ago. So Tern is going, and it'll be fun because variable date ranges and occupancy rates are definitely like in particular really important for these like really large weddings. So those will be fun. Hopefully David will do his classic like live demo debut that like spikes all of our heart rates, and we're all like crossing our fingers it goes well.
Yeah, I think he said he needed some fancy new GoPro and mic or something that he wanted
Oh
to
boy.
extend to do his live stream. So stay tuned.
That is so classic David. We miss you, David. And then the only other thing that I've been focused on that I think will be really exciting for people listening is we actually, in 2 weeks, we're going to have a consistent mobile roadmap. So this will encompass like client side updates on mobile web as well as the mobile app. We'll also start to be investing in like advisor mobile web improvements. So if you're working on an iPad or you're working on your phone on the go, which we know you are often on the go, Tern is just more responsive and like fits better onto those screen sizes. And then don't worry, we will also, not super near term, but like that kind of continuous mobile investment will also involve an advisor mobile app definitely this year. So yeah, all of those things I think are going to be just like really important improvements. The first set of work that we're doing is client side upgrades and just making it so that like your clients can more easily within the app make authorizations, make approvals, more easily just like access and log into the app. So just things like that we know we get feedback around, just like anything we can do to improve the client experience makes you all look good. So we'll be able to share more. What we actually like, it'll be an official third squad. We have like 2 engineering squads right now, and now we'll have 3 in starting just a few weeks. So that'll be really exciting.
And I'm going to do something I'll probably regret, but like just taking people behind the scenes for mobile. We have like one of the things we're trying to work on is what we call like mobile polish. And that's addressing a bunch of general feedback. But one of the things we hear is like, oh, the Turn app just doesn't feel like, I don't know, there's different variations, like high quality enough, or like it doesn't feel premium or visual enough. There's all this language. If you are one of those, not even if you're one of those people, if you just have feedback about the mobile app, you're like, I wish it looked better. If you could like share examples or like give us more detail about like what are your hopes and dreams for how you wish the mobile app looked and felt for your clients, Brad@Tern.travel is my email, and Molly gave her email, and I don't think she regretted it too much. Um,
No, it should have been really helpful.
yes. So Ursula and I are gonna a new designer Ursula are gonna be really digging into like what should the mobile app look and feel like from a traveler side. I think that will influence a lot of like improvements we'll eventually make both on the web and mobile app. And so if you have feedback related to that, send it our way. Yeah, there's a lot of ideas we already have internally, but like always love hearing from people, both like what you love, what you wish was improved, and any inspiration. If you have other apps, you're like, they do this so well, like Tern should learn from them. That's my favorite kind of thing to like be able to borrow from on the design side. So that's that. Anything else to add here, Molly, before we wrap up?
I don't know. I feel like we did. It was a short one without David here, but no, there's just so many things that are exciting coming soon that we didn't even get a chance to talk about. So we'll just keep talking about it next time.
Amazing. Well, hope you enjoyed the Molly and Brad show. If you want David to come back, I don't know, email him. He'll come back next week. It'll be fine. And then, yeah, if you enjoy this, if you haven't already, based on our pestering, click the whatever button, follow, like, subscribe, those things. We always love hearing from you, talking to you, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, y'all.